Just imagine, you're one turn away from winning Catan. But instead of accepting your generous sheep for a brick trade, your neighbor marches 40 infantry into your lands, cutting off your ability to harvest and flips your settlement to their color. Welcome to RC. If Risk and Catan had a baby, it's the game everyone's daydreamed of playing. Hey Leets, I'm Pones Jones, hacker turned board game hacker, and today you are one click away from the ultimate in gaming mashups. One that combines the resource gathering engine of Catan with the ruthless area control and combat of Risk. And a few added twists. Sounds harmless? Well, your enemy troops and the now deadly robber might have something to say about that. Run it. At first glance, it looks as though combining these two games would be pretty easy. Toss Risk troops onto the hexes of Catan and start rolling. But you'd be wrong. That was a disaster. It was too cramped, harvesting resources was a joke, the game dragged out, and you never really got to do any real battling. And here lies the problem. The real difficulty is combining these two games while trying to keep the gameplay feel true to the originals. Catan would be the base for the game. Hexes are now territories that troops can conquer using movement and combat rules pulled directly from Risk. But how to make everything work? Firstly, I don't want to change the winning conditions from the original games. Either last man standing or victory points can take the win. But to get there, you're going to have to navigate resource collection, a shifting front line, securing your back doors, and pulling off some hostile takeovers. Here, let me show you. Yes. Things kick off with a classic Catan dice roll, harvesting resources. But since there's more than just settlements you need resources for, things are slightly different. You cannot harvest if enemy troops are in the territory, but you can harvest any territory that is touching your roads. Yep. Like in real war, roads are a big deal. Roads give you a wider reach, so your workers can head out every morning to extract resources from distant lands, and your troops can more effectively invade territories or reinforce positions, preventing you from getting easily choked off. But roads are not a for sure thing. Your roads can be captured. If your enemy is posted on both sides of the road, it's flipped to their color, cutting your flow of resources and troops. Speaking of flips, you can capture enemy settlements and cities in a very similar fashion, occupying all possible adjacent lands for a single turn. Bam! You get a new settlement, and the victory point that goes with it. But that's not all you get. Settlements and cities produce troops every turn, 1 and 2 respectively. Oh, and so do the victory cards and tiles you've collected. So, like in Risk, every turn you're all but guaranteed some number of newly deployed troops. And speaking of troops, they're the backbone of your empire's expansion and protection, with a copy-paste of Risk's combat rolling system. They also have Risk-like movements, leaving one troop behind in every territory. As mentioned before, they prevent enemy workers from harvesting. You can buy them directly with resources, and they're skilled sailors? Yes, and they're going to be sailing right into your harbor. Harbors are now territories on the map. Your troops can invade and occupy them. Not only that, every harbor is connected via a short boat ride to the next harbor, one on either side, all the way around the island. Why, you might ask? This allows you to deny your enemy from trading with merchants, and it also adds a bit of a back door to keep the map from getting stuck in a gridlock. And speaking of back doors, did someone say ships? If you're building a settlement next to a harbor, you get a little strategic nightmare treat. A sailable ship. Load it with units, pay the trading fee, and the ship drops your troops at any harbor you want, skipping the predictable adjacent harbor march around the board. That'll get your enemies trembling in their britches while hanging on to their unwanted sheep. And speaking of trembling, we have yet to talk about the most terrifying creature of all, the robber. Firstly, some good news. The robber no longer takes half your hand if you have 8+ resources. But yes, they still live in their impassable desert hex, and still come out to play when the dice strike 7. But things now take a more deadlier approach. When the robbers arrive, not only do they prevent a harvest, they ransack an adjacent establishment for resources and completely cut off the roadways. But if that wasn't bad enough, they get deadly if troops are present. A single troop is offed when the robbers first arrive in the preoccupied hex. But if there's troops remaining, the robbers are too preoccupied to ransack an adjacent establishment. However, the robbers begin sowing chaos within your ranks, so badly that invading troops get a one-time reroll of failed combat dice. You know, RC is a wild ride of intense Catan gameplay punctuated by deadly battles and backdoor maneuvers, all under the watchful eye of the heartless robbers. You've got to give it a try.